Hi, I'm Isabella Clark and I'm a sophomore at Broughton. I attended A.B. Combs from kindergarten to 5th grade. I like to call Miss Summers my school mom. I spent plenty of time in her office learning speeches and preparing for leadership days, and I'm just very thankful to be a part of her legacy at Combs and to experience firsthand what that meant. As the honoree in education, you give us great hope for the future as you foster skills of literacy and collaboration among our young people. Talk to us about what has motivated your focus.
I think what has always motivated me in all of those arenas is bringing out the best in our students, regardless of what their gifts and talents are. It's really important that a child knows their area of strength, because once they do, the areas of weakness don't seem as great. So focusing on what a student can do and building from those strengths is something that I have prided myself on, as well as the staff at Combs over the years.
What advice can you share with our audience about how we can support public education as we all move forward together?
I was very proud that we spent the last 24 years at Combs learning about leadership. And from the youngest student to the oldest adult in the building, we were all focused on being the best leaders we could possibly be. But the pandemic put all that learning to test. And I think we passed it with flying colors, because we realized that leadership often just stems from the most unexpected places. And we had that modeled for us day in and day out with our district leadership, and showing us, find people's most distinct contributions and trust them to do the work, and you focus on what you feel your strengths are and your talents are. And that's sort of how we navigated this pandemic at Combs, was by relying on the contributions of all, the students, the staff, our parents. And at the end of last year, we reflected back on all that we had been through. And we sort of said, we think this could have been our finest hour as a school, because we trusted one another. And I hope that as we move forward, we will take those lessons that we learned during the pandemic, and we will remember that everyone has gifts and talents and strengths, and to tap in on those and not rely on just a few to lead, but rely on all to lead. And when you do that, that's when you can get through the toughest of times to the other side, often with flying colors. And we certainly hope that was the case for us. Continues to be as A.B. Combs moves forward.
Me personally, it was so inspiring to see a woman so hardworking to lead a school so well, and with kindness and with integrity, and it's something that I've carried with me to high school, and I know that will carry with me through the rest of my life. It's like you never slept. That's what I was telling her. You worked so hard to ensure that the school was a safe place for everyone, teachers, families, students, parents, and you inspired me to lead. You inspired me to want to be better. And you taught me so many valuable lessons, and I'm so thankful that I get to go on and teach my friends those lessons, and my kids and my family. And big thank you to you. I really appreciate you.
Bella, thank you. But you've always had greatness in you, and I am so proud of you. I have watched you grow up from a little kindergartner giving a speech into who I'm sitting across from right now. You were destined for greatness. You've always had it in you, and I cannot wait to see what you do with your life. The world awaits you, my darling.
I'm Ruth Steidinger. I am a retired Wake County Public Schools educator of 32 years. So I've known Muriel for 24, 25 years. I've known her as a parent, because my children went to her school. And I've also known her as a colleague, and I must say that she is one of the most visionary, courageous leaders I know, and I'm extremely proud of her receiving this Star of Education Award. My children were a benefactor of your leadership work, and what I'd love to hear from you is when you think back 24 years ago, what was the impetus for your vision, aside from the obvious Stephen Covey's work?
We were faced with a challenge, and I think at that point the challenge became an opportunity to transform a great school at that time, Combs, into a school that was more, I think, in line with the times of what the community wanted, because we reached out to the community, to the parents and the students and teachers, university professors, and business leaders. And we asked the question, if you could create your ideal school, what would it look like, sound like, and feel like? So we took all of that feedback from those key stakeholders, and it sort of screamed leadership. But I also think that any principal brings into that role their own experiences as a student and as a teacher. And we bring experiences that inspired us, and we bring experiences that we would say we would never, if we were in a position, have that happen in the schools in which we led. And that's how I led Combs. There's a little bit of Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, 4-H, lessons learned in sports, lessons learned in the classroom, lessons learned by life experiences. But we wanted our children to not feel that they were a score on a piece of paper, but they were so much more than that. And during that time, you know, it was very much about the academics, and absolutely it should be. But we wanted a school that focused on more than that, and leadership did that for us. It was like recognizing children's unique gifts and talents that extended beyond what they did academically.
Because I asked the girls, if you were to use one word to describe Ms. Summers, what would it be? And passionate and courageous were the two words that they came up with. And passionate, and Bennett went a little bit further to say passionate in a way that kids could see and feel it. But I want to stick with the word for courage for a moment, because I view you as a very courageous leader. And I'd love to hear what it is that motivates you to be the woman that speaks up when nobody else may. What brought that courage for you in your life?
And you've taught me this, that when you know your why, there's no stopping you. You know, I never felt that I went to work. I always felt I went to school and that I was doing my life's calling. And how fortunate are we that know our why, follow that course that's been outlined for our lives. You know, that's where the passion and the courage comes from, is doing what's right behind that why.
What is next? What is next? What are your takeaways from the lessons that you've learned over the past 38 years as an educator, particularly last year? What's next for you?
Well, I've got to say that I have worked with the most talented people and the most supportive administrators who just allowed us to do what we thought was right for children, and then assemble a team of teachers that were so aligned with our mission and vision as a school. And they're the ones that deserve all the credit, because without their support and their unselfish acts of going above and beyond, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now. So all the kudos go to them. But I was once told that our best is always ahead of us. And, you know, right now, leaving a school that I love so much and a district where I felt so supported, and a community that just always I felt had our backs as educators, it was a big step to leave that cocoon, if you will, of comfort, to step out and try something new. But I do believe that the best is yet to be for all of us if we look at it that way. And there's still one more chapter left in me. And so I'm excited about what the future holds. And I'll just let the universe speak to me like it always has about what those next chapters will be.